choice theory advanced practicum course that I'm doing is on today. It's at Wahroonga Public School, fair hike of a drive, and it's even longer when the freeway's doing this. It starts at 8:30, and as I've been driving, time of arrival has been getting further and further away. Currently telling me that I'm going to get there at 8:47 now. A little while back it was like, you're going to arrive at 8:40. And that's taking motorways. I'm glad I've got like a toll token things for the automatic tolls, because it's when you're going to things like this that you don't want to muck around with traffic on back streets and trying to avoid tolls and that sort of thing. But when the tolls says it's going to take you a long time as well, this week it seems to be turning into a week of just things not running to time. I need to get some blood work done, and it's fasting blood work, so I obviously do it first thing in the morning. So yesterday morning I got up, fed the dogs, got everything else ready, but obviously didn't eat breakfast or have a coffee or anything like that. And I drove down to our doctor's on the way to work, where they've got a pathology place, and there was a big line of people, and in the 15 minutes I sat there, one person went in and came out. This is ridiculous. And I'd messaged my faculty and said, stop to get blood work, we'll be hopefully there on time. And then I ended up having to message them back and say, this is going to take too long, I'll see you soon. Couldn't obviously do it today. Try for Friday morning. I don't have a class first period, so if it gets held up, it's not as bad.
Continue on M11 for 6 kilometers.
So having these tunnels that have been built around Sydney have actually helped a lot in terms of cutting travel times. I'm actually not sure how long this tunnel is, but I've been in it for about 6 kilometres so far, I think. Definitely do need to watch your speed in them though, because I think they've got cameras all over the place on them. I have been through this tunnel once before to go to Hornsby, I think.
In 600 metres, keep left at the fork to continue towards Pennant Hills Road.
If you continue on this tunnel, you end up getting onto the M1 up to Newcastle.
Keep left at the fork. Continue for 1 kilometre. In 600 metres, sharp right onto Pennant Hills Road. Turn left onto Redleaf Avenue. In 200 metres, at the roundabout, take the first exit onto Cleveland Street.
Where does it think I am?
In 150 metres, sharp right onto Pennant Hills Road. Sharp right onto Pennant Hills Road, then continue straight to stay on Pennant Hills Road.
It was completely lost as to where I was. Thought I was somewhere all the way out there. So I'm apparently 6 minutes away from my destination now, Wahroonga Public School. Made up a little bit of time.
Use the right 2 lanes to turn right onto Pacific Highway, A1.
The person who's hosting at their school has sent us the gate code so that we can get in and park inside the school grounds, and because we're in like a group chat, the people in the course, and I let them know the traffic's pretty heavy. It says I'm going to get there at about 1:45, and then somebody else had also messaged, yeah, we're stuck in traffic, we're going to get there at about 1:45. So
Turn left onto M1, then use the right lane to take the slip road to North Connects. Use the right lane to take the slip road to North Connects. Continue on M11 for 9 kilometers.
That spot there was where I had a speeding ticket for coming down that in ramp, obviously too fast. That was a while ago, and right now, still going downhill, 9 kilometers of tunnel. Wow, that's special. Blue lights on the side and twinkling lights on the ceiling like it was sky, night sky. Good day at that TPL. Pretty much the same group of people that I did advanced intensive last year. That was a 4-day course, 2 days on the weekend. You remember that one? And this was our first session of this, and this will spread out over 6 months. We were being hosted at the school of one of the participants who's the deputy there. Beautiful school in the bush, beautiful bushy suburb. I think that area was settled fairly early on in the settlement, like New South Wales, Australia. A lot of very large old houses on what looked like huge blocks of land comparatively. Several that had tennis courts in their yards and that sort of thing. It's a public school. There's obviously a lot of support for the school. There's the original, or what looks like one of the original buildings of the school, which is similar in style to the primary school I went to, which was built in 1940s, I think. A lot of other buildings in there as the school has grown. And their playgrounds, they had a bush playground, a playground with a lot of seating, lots of astroturf, lots of soft fall, recycled rubber, astroturfed running track, little soccer field. They had a basketball court. There was an amphitheatre at the back where the block just sort of drops down, and so it was all set out with seating and a little stage thing and what looked like stage change room type things at the back, which looked very old. But back there were bush turkeys running around. It was recess time, and a kookaburra swooped through the playground and took a cookie out of the hand of a kid who was sitting on the ground just in front of us. And then it landed on the ground near us, and when we made a move towards it, it just hopped back up and flew off and went up into the tree. The little kid started crying because the kookaburra had nipped his hand as well, getting the cookie. The deputy said it's a common occurrence. They're very well-fed kookaburras in the area, and there was a lot of them. Sit in the trees around the playground and scope out the playground. And when after the bell had gone, they came in and were grabbing scraps that they saw on the ground. I would never have thought of a kookaburra as taking a cookie off a kid. Chocolate chip one of that. Big one. Very well set up, well-resourced school. 2 swimming pools. Just finished the double year 12 this morning, feeling extremely soaked. This is from having the high-vis vest on. I'm trying to get the outside area a bit more tidy so we can start doing their brickwork. Got pallets stacked there with the heaviest load one down the bottom because they've got to do stacking bricks on pallets at some point. So they were all there, so that the area's been cleaned up a lot of the leaves. Started stacking the bricks and they've been cleaning off the old bricks that look from an old wall. That's taking a bit of time because it was actual mortar, and cleaned up the seat area, starting to pull out some of the weeds because we need to work out there. And I'm hoping that I do have a storage container that's down the other end of the car park, and I'm going to see what it would cost to get it moved here, because it would fit between that guttering and before the gateway, so I'd be able to use that to store all the stuff which currently is stacked everywhere, because there is a timber rack in that shed, in that container. It's only a small group, so trying to get things done does take time. There's one in particular that'll just work, a couple of others that they'll work for a little bit, stop, and I can unset. Like, it's hot. It got quite hot quite soon. It's currently 27 here now. It's only remaining to reach a top of 30 or 31. But working out there, I'm gonna have to see if I can get some hats for the kids and some sunscreen and etc. Had fire and rescue training today, and our hydrants in the street are marked just with a H on the road, and they're buried in the ground, so we had to go around and clear off the hydrants and clear away the dirt, inspect the hydrants, and in some cases clear away the dirt inside the hydrants so that we could stick our standpipes in, test the hydrants and flush them out a bit before closing them back up. Hey, I'm going to try and get a wardrobe into that space. It's 1 metre long or 1 metre wide, which will be about here. So I'm going to move this across if I can. That, I'll end up moving that and moving that, and I'll just move that down to there up against the bookshelf, and I'll still have space. Like the wardrobe's got sliding doors, so that'll be fine there. I think it'll leave us about 1.5 foot or something to get in there. Crowded little room, but we'll see how we go. I've been working on the road out here and regrading this dirt road. It wasn't so bumpy coming down the hill there. There's still a little bit of work further up. Steamroller over there as well. So they've basically dug up and graded the road, filled in some spots with the little backhoe. They've run along here with the steamroller, but the steamrollers do have big treaded rear wheels. Well, these ones do anyway. They're just basically compacting the ground, not trying to get it completely smooth. So I wonder if they've gone all the way along to the end. We'll find out. It's definitely a lot smoother. Basically pushed all of the gravel back into the surface, so it's not all rough-ish. Not usually here, home early enough for doing this. It's 5:30. My wife goes, you're home early enough. It's nice out. Take the dogs for a walk. Never knew that this little stream at the side went to a drain that went under the road and down into the bush. A culvert, I should say. No, culverts aren't covered. Yeah, come all the way along. Feels very fresh. Today was a full-on day. I was off work yesterday, so catching up as well on stuff. I had big plans for the first 2 periods today because I don't normally have a class, and that got changed when we saw an email sent out late yesterday about a worker that has to take some time off. Their head teacher had to try and juggle classes within the faculty first and sent me all of that. I had to make all those changes on the timetable. Well, some of the requests looks fairly straightforward. They weren't, because they caused clashes in the timetable, so tried to fix as many of those as I can. But in addition to doing that, a couple of staff are away. In addition to that, period 4 after my 11 class, 2 staff are away from different faculties, and I was given an overload extra, is what they call it, because I'm on a full load. So it was an overload extra to take one of the classes, covering a Year 7 math class, combined with a Year 7 English class. So how do you do that? There's 45 kids all up. And I went over to English faculty to find out about the work, and we figured out, like, you're probably not going to get a lot out of these kids at those 2 classes, especially different faculty areas. So we just came up with something they could all try and engage with. I don't really know the Year 7s because I teach Year 8, 10, 11 and 12. 2 full classes in the room, and you don't know the kids. It's hard to sort of call anybody by name, so I couldn't. I had to mark the roles. It's just an indication of how bad the situation is in public schools. We do have a real teacher shortage. People on leave, people going on leave, absolutely no wiggle room. Like, one of the solutions that this faculty came up with was to completely collapse the Year 10 class and merge the kids evenly in amongst the other classes. Instead of 5 classes in Year 10, they've gone down to 4 big classes. There's an email that I saw this afternoon asking to talk to all the head teachers after muster in the morning. I've got a feeling they're going to suggest that every faculty collapses Year 10 into 4 classes. That will technically free up 1 teacher from every faculty, be available for taking the load, covering the load, picking up classes when people are away. I'll see if my hunch is right. What I know is that I'm going to have to put all those plans into action in the timetable. You're walking so much better, Batman. Slowing down a little bit now, but doing well, Sam. Good boy. Good boy, Batman. Just out here putting this stuff in our pond. See it floating around. Kills mosquitoes, but doesn't harm frogs or fish. Apparently, says it's safe around fish. Tadpoles are huge in there. That one? You just seen? No, don't bother that. Coming up to the top to breathe. Or feed, I don't know. But I've counted, oh look, there's 3 there. There was 9, so that's, oh, I just saw some legs on one. Look at the size of that. So there's at least 8 in here that I'm spotting.